If we cut the rest of the profile of the knife out first, then like we'd have a... And I think we can try harvesting some pieces of that.
It has some angle handle, so you can have a nice
rounded, removed area from the handle.
Take a lighter and carefully melt this, and that'll really keep it from coming.
The bevel to go. So now we've added our little slot. Really hard time. And we're going to try and...
So right now we're just going to take a drill bit and drill out these contour edges here.
So now I think
the bevels, and we're not...
Get some metal blades if you want.
Oh,
might be a decent... There's a YouTube channel called Make or Break that has a... Okay, we found this.
And just keep going up.
He's done with that.
But we actually want the handle...
Just not, they're currently curved is what I'm...
Yeah. Dull a little bit.
On a car of vehicles that are not in... Should be watching next. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, just hit this bomb to get in the club. Right here. So now how long is it going to take us to cut through this? Forever?
To loop it around the top like that, and then make sure you've got some extra.
So to take slightly shorter forever.
Wherever you want the handle to start. The where you want. Piece, and that'll cinch it down.
Some shape and really make it look like what we're going for. I think
that's very fair.
We've got... So I think you could put a strap or a cord through it.
Yeah.
And then...
But make sure this loop stays above.
So on, talk to you then. We thought those looked really cool and we wanted to try doing. After that, we're just going to start adding the taper onto the blades, right? The bevels.
Yes, we're going to.
3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Now we are going to take this back to our studio. I know it said post-apocalyptic, but I think I'll take it. What are you asking for it?
$20.
Referring to our source for materials. We're going to cheat a little bit and use some...
It's not going to go anywhere. And then just cut off
in the back, and we want to start harvest material.
World, of course, there are going to be tons of broken down cars.
We're going to try and make the fun part, which is just so natural.
So logically, that's the first place you'd go, and a new car.
We're going to find what looks like our next step.
So on the knife edge of it.
Start with the file and see how well we're getting things.
And drill a few holes out here at the base of the.
Yeah! We're champion knife throwers!
Done.
Woo! Good throwing.
It's going to be the perfect thickness for it.
Yeah, I think we might. That's how it's done. Guys, that's it for today, but that's not all there is to see. That box at the top.
We need to take either a file or if you have an angle.
What's our next step?
So we want to cut
the profile all cut and filed out. Clay, so let's grab a scrap piece of wood and see if we can throw this and get it to stick.
Angle iron that I think.
Apocalyptic way. We've come to an area where there just happens to be something similar, but with a little bit of a twist on it. So today I'm here with my friend, the hacksaw. We could use an angle grind.
So you want the handle to stop.
Here is the basic idea. We've got a hacksaw and some pliers and the knife that's the size we want, and then I just sand it down. From here that we can then use to make these knives. Prime condition. The really fun part, we get to start cutting all of that apocalyptic world. Source of good cheap materials. I think what we're looking for, and that's going to be our guide for the shape we're trying to make. I try and snag this whole piece off. Or is some pretty straight, flat-ish pieces of steel, ideally.
That would be a little bit expensive for the budget.
So we're gonna take advantage of what we have available to us and use this as with all these broken down cars. What? Adding a bevel in. I've marked off, before I tore the paper off, I marked off where we want. Now we need to make it look a little bit more like a pretty sweet truck. It had what looks like some finished throwing knife made out of a piece of an old. That way you'll never miss out on the fun. Don't forget to ring that bell and we'll see you in the next metal right there. So we can basically just cut right around it. Guys, today we're going to be taking a look at how to make some sort of post-apocalyptic.
Not the correct shape we really want. And then we also want to put bevels.
A video showing how they made some throwing knives.
Extra line down here so you can pull on that.
Out. We could use a jigsaw, we could use, it's all covered in rust. We're gonna cheat, because filing takes a really long time in place. To be a lot of, and I have the one that we've made just today, and we've got our shape pretty well cut out and filed and sanded and everything. Actually done this before. You can see he has his own knife and sort of carrying system built into it, getting the drill bit to stand.
Apart. So what we're going to do is just going to take so when you get to this point where you want it to stop, grinder that works too. We just need to kind of finish shaping because if you noticed, it's definitely
Oh, nice.
this excess. And if you want, you can take
We've got our basic shape cut out. What's our
a finished knife. Now we're going to make the handle wrap for it.
1 inch thick, which should be the perfect size for making some throwing knives.
Very cool. So now top will take you to our last video. You should go check that out. The other box will show you what YouTube thinks.
See how it is. You go get the metal blades for the jigsaw and I start with a hacksaw.
Our truck, weirdly demolished truck, and we've got a picture of the knife that we're trying to.
Yeah.
All right, and now
Later, and then just start wrapping right here, tapered outward that way.
Right.
So when we wrap the paracord around it, it won't.
just very much cutting until we have this all. We don't show all the takes, we just show the last one.
So this angle iron's like perfect thickness. It's about an 8.
Tools. Finish this bad boy up.
That extra piece of paracord.
What?
You're not gonna make them like perfectly sharp for a throwing knife. You kind of want to.
Yeah.
Something that's like around 1/8 of an inch thick. Enough thickness that we can carve into it a little bit and give it some. That's basically what we're going for, is removing. Chop that off and then shape it into what we want. So Clay, why are we here? Now, of course, we need to test this out. Modeled after those seen in the game Far Cry 4. I printed out a picture of not quite apocalyptic on this piece of metal a little bit because it's. So I had Clay here showing us how to do this because he has actually moved.
Take some paracord. We're going toward right in, and then you just pull on this back.
Well, so in a post-apocalyptic.
Clay, and we are some Far Cry 4 knives, but in sort of a
So then we don't have to later on take a file to them.
post-apocalyptic weapons.
Got our finished handle.
Booyah! We've got a
Really get them.
and if
Slip off,
right,
you know.
not parallel.
Oh!
Yeah. Want the handle to stop.
We are going to use some power tools because in this car. And now, of course, we need to test this out. So let's grab it.
Yeah! It poked through the plywood.
But we can start with hacksaw while I run in.
So now that we've got the
Here that we cut off, I think what we're gonna do is print this out and we're gonna glue that onto our bar like the one in the game. So we're gonna take a little bit of spray paint and just age it up a bit. So now we can just both throw them at the target. Okay, we've got our bar right.
Sold.
do this pretty tightly.
And I want to be able to glue this down onto. All right, now.
Everybody
still
has
have power tools.
Yeah.
All this.
Just tuck.
Knife material on each side.